Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Elizabeth. So today we're going to talk about Psalms 55 because we're at the point in our Psalms series that we've reached 55. And so I want to ask you a question. Have you ever played hide and seek? Like, as a kid, or maybe you're still at that age where you like to play hide and seek. And it's so fun, isn't it? The anticipation of, like you're just scared in a way. You might be found or you might not be found, and maybe the excitement of the delay really makes you happy, and maybe the fact that you're looking for somebody else makes you happy. It's just a fun game, isn't it? Well, I think sometimes we can play hide and seek with God and it's not so fun, and sometimes we can feel a little bit guilty about something we've done, or just guilty feelings, or maybe with people that we interact with. Maybe we kind of said something or did something, or they said something and did something that really offended us, and vice versa. And so all we want to do is just hide, and that's not so fun. And if we do something against God, then we really want to hide, because a lot of us really love and adore God, and so when we disappoint him, we feel ashamed. And I kind of think of Adam and Eve. Eve, she ended up getting tempted by the snake, and then she led Adam to do the same thing, and then they realized that they were naked, and so they hid from God. And God is like, where are you? It's like they were playing hide and seek with God because sorry, still getting a little over the cold. They were feeling ashamed for what they did, and they loved God with all their heart so much, and they disappointed God, and so they just wanted to hide. But that's not really what the Bible teaches. And Jesus teaches that yes, I know that you're going to fail sometimes. I know that you're going to make a mistake and not keep my commandments like I want to, but it's okay. I forgive you now. That doesn't give you a pass to just keep messing up, because God's going to give you a pass. There is a cutoff eventually, but if you're like, oh man, I just messed up, Lord. I promise that I'm going to do better. I'm so sorry. He's going to forgive you and give you a fresh start. And that's what we can do when we rely on God, is we get a fresh start. We don't have to worry about our past. The past is gone. I mean, God is like, I don't know why you're so down on yourself because of your past. I've already forgotten it. God doesn't really keep records. I've made videos in the past where I said, God doesn't have somebody up there with a notebook saying, oh, so-and-so failed again. We're going to write this down. We're going to mark it down in the calendar. God doesn't do that. He wants everybody to come to him. It's like, some of you that have kids, maybe you can relate to this. And this is a great example too, because if you have kids, we had foster kids for a while, and we told them, if we see something that they did wrong, we were like, we would tell them, this, it's fine. I mean, they wrote on our gate, and, it's like, we just wanted to know we just told them, we just want you to know if you did it or not. And, so you as a parent, you can probably relate to something like that. You just want your kids to be able to feel comfortable to come to you. Raising your kids by fear is just not a good thing to do, because, they're going to maybe obey you because they're fearful of you. But then when they turn 15, 16, then the relationship is not going to be out of love, and it won't last. They're just going to start resenting you. And so that's, we don't want to have that kind of relationship with God where we feel like he's resenting us. He doesn't. And that's how Adam and Eve, they thought they betrayed God, but God forgave them, and he punished the one that was at fault. So he attacked the cause. He got rid of the cause. A lot of times when people are going through a hard time, people just treat the symptoms. They don't treat the cause. And so you can't be as effective as you can be if you now see, I think you need to treat the symptoms and the cause, because you're still going to have the symptoms even if you're treating the cause. And some people really need mental support, like a counselor and stuff like that to help them through that process. But I agree that both things should be addressed. And so this Psalms 55, David was just in so much distress because he felt so betrayed by, by his friend Absalom. Not Absalom. I'm talking about Absalom's son. And let's see, I wrote down, let me check my notes here, because his name is Anithophel. No, I know how to say it. Anithophel. There, I've said it. Yeah, so, he felt betrayed by Absalom's son. I just want to make sure I said the right name. Absalom's son, and, it was during Absalom's rebellion, and Absalom's son was always on David's side, but then he switched and went to his father's side, and so David was just feeling so betrayed, and, he's just crying out to God, Lord, I feel so betrayed. I just feel so betrayed, and so, that's what we should do, and I always, I don't want to say that, because then it sounds like I don't want to say that I do it. I probably don't always do it. Yes, I don't always do it. I can be truthful, because if I'm going to do a video, I don't always consult God. But when I am going through a hard time, I do cling to God, because I feel like He's the only one that's going to give me the comfort that I need, other than the physical comfort that I can get here on earth. But I've always gone to God. I don't like saying that because it makes me sound so pious, but right now I believe that I always go to God for a problem. Now, maybe there's times that I don't and I'm just not aware, so I will try to be conscious of that. But yes, I think it's important for us to go to God when we're feeling distressed. David asked God to give ear to his prayer, and he didn't want God to hide himself from David. Yeah, because, he felt so betrayed, and he was just like, Lord, help me, I'm going through such a hard time, and he really needed God. He felt like God was playing hide and seek with him. He's like, where are you, Lord? Where are you? Well, God's like, I've been right here the whole time, dude. Like, I'm always here. You just need to look for me. And, Melissa, who is in Germany, she made a video recently talking about distractions, and like one of them was the internet and cell phones. Now, I totally agree with that, because, there's so many people that are so distracted by their phones. It's incredible. I don't know how people, if you go to a place to do something, why do you need to be on your phone? Like, you're in a location to do whatever it is you're doing. I don't want to say specifically, because I might get in trouble. But yeah, so I don't know how people, if I am in a position where I am going to someplace to do something, I'm going to do that something. I'm going to stay focused. And there's so many people that watch reel after reel after reel, and it's so true. We can get so distracted and just not really pay attention to God and what we need to be paying attention to. And so, David complains, but he knows God will listen. We can learn from David and cast our burdens on God. And so, I think we can learn a lot from David. And did you notice that the betrayal is also similar to the betrayal of Jesus Christ by Judas Iscariot? Because both involved trusted companions turning against someone that they were close to. And, sometimes we can feel like that, we had a good friend and they really hurt our feelings, and that can really take a toll on our mental health because we just feel so betrayed by that person. And so, it can make us feel very sorrowful and not want to, just crawl in a hole and hide. I know that I've been in that situation where I just want to leave the room or, flee from this situation that I don't like. And, just make yourself really small so people can't see you. I am sure that's David is just like, if my own best friend turned against me, what's going to happen next? I mean, David often expressed his feelings in really expressive ways, and it's really cool to read. And so I encourage you to check out Psalms 55. You can check it out in this video, or, you know, on your own if you want a different translation. But yeah, so I thank you so much for listening, and I, you know, leave a comment. What are you struggling with right now? I mean, you don't have to be so specific. I mean, leave a comment if you have anything to say. I don't mean to like make people put things that they may not be comfortable putting, but you know, if you want me to pray for you, I can do that. I would love to pray for you, and so I think I'm going to do that next. I'll do a little prayer video, and so I will see you in my next podcast. Bye bye.